Hello and welcome to the new video. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah. Welcome to the new reading vlog. Welcome to the new episode of the Hannah Show. Hi, I hope you are well. So this month I have decided to do 2 reading vlogs in a month instead of just one long one. Hopefully it will help keeping the interest in watching the video, because I know some of these an hour long vlogs can be a little bit people get bored quickly nowadays. I don't mind. I usually watch them when I get ready or when I cook and stuff like that, so I like to play them in the background. But I know some people see an hour long video and they're like, yeah, I can't be bothered with watching that. So I decided to split my monthly vlog into 2 bi-weekly vlogs, 2 weekly vlogs, whatever. I had a really good couple of weeks beginning of March, because my reading was just amazing. I was reading really good books and I was enjoying my time. I was enjoying my reading, and I'm hoping the second part of the month will be the same. I have selected the first 3 books I'll be reading to start my second half of March, and these are. So in the last vlog I have finished reading the Crimson Moth duology, and I had I think 3 big books that I wanted to read in March, and one of them is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, and for some reason I am not inclined to reach for this book, and maybe because I hear really mixed opinions about this book, and I'm just like, it just doesn't, that book doesn't call my name. Maybe I will do like a mixed media type, so maybe part by audio, part physical reading. But the other book, it's the book that I bought in, was it February? I think in February. It's a new release. It came out in January, and it is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read this book, because not only the cover speaks to me, but the style of the book, I think a lot of people comparing it to Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm so excited to read that. I love Daisy Jones and the Six, and Taylor Jenkins Reid in general. So I'm really excited to start my second half of March with this book. Oh my god, I love the colors. I love the colors. I feel like, I don't know, it's just so amazing. So I will be reading this physically. Last couple of days actually, I was so into reading this manga series, PTSD Radio, and last night I actually finished, I read book 2, volume 2, book 2, so volume 3 and 4, and I have book 3 left, which has volumes 4 and 5 and 6. So I'll be reading this, but this is a really quick one. You can literally read that in a couple of hours, because obviously it's a graphic novel, so it reads really quick, but I'm having a really good time. So last night when I finished reading book 2, I finished reading at about like midnight, and I was like, oh, man, how am I going to sleep? Because it's not scary, but it is just something so unsettling about the illustrations in this book. This is the victim. And I'll show you what I mean. So you read, and hold on, let me find this like a good example for you. I'll just show you one story. There's this story. This girl, she's walking an office hallway, and she's like, oh, it's so dark here, the company doesn't want to leave the lights on, whatever, it's so dark. She thinks something is following her, and she looks around, she looks behind her, and there's nothing there. She can't see anything, right? She turns around, she looks behind, and she can't see anything in the hallway, and she's like, oh, I must have been hearing things. Boom, it's this. And I'm like, I know it's not scary, but when you're into the story, when you read, when you look at the illustrations, and then you turn the page and you see something like this, it's basically like a jump scare. It's unsettling and it's creepy. It's not scary, but it's just really unsettling, and I feel like there you go. And I feel like these really get under your skin, and I really like them. Yeah, I don't know if they're 5-star reads for me. This one, I rated this one 4 stars, same as the first book. So yeah, I finished that last night. Well, in like 2 hours I've read that, or I looked at the pictures. And then this is the one I will be reading soon, maybe today, I don't know, we'll see. I've got plans for today, so I might start this today, hopefully read at least first part, and this is the last in the series. The only problem with, I feel, manga and graphic novels in general is they can be quite expensive because you read them so fast. I think one is like 13-14 pounds or 15 pounds per graphic novel, and because you read them so quick, I literally read this whole entire book in like, I don't know, maybe like an hour and a half, an hour, something like this. I feel like I'm not getting my money's worth. I know what I'm paying for. I'm paying for a beautiful artwork, but also it feels like, am I getting my money's worth? But going forward, I think what I will do, I'll just go to my local library and I'll just pick any manga series from there and I'll just read that, because I think regardless of how nice it is to have physical books on the shelves, I feel like with manga it can be quite expensive, especially that some of these series have many volumes. So that's that. So that's my 2 books. And then also I have The Rats by James Herbert. This is one of the books I had on my March TBR, and I don't know, I have an audiobook for this. I was actually, it's such a short book, it's literally less than 200 pages, but I checked my library what they have available in Rats, and the whole series is actually available in the library on BorrowBox. So I'm thinking I might actually listen to this via audio, because I have my book blanket to update, and also I'm making that other blanket for Jason now, the color block one. So I might put this on as an audiobook while I do my blanket, and it's a very short book. I think it's just like 6 hours, so if I listen on 1.5, that's like, I don't know, 4.5 hours audio. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I have so many books to read, like, you know what? And also, Amber, if you're watching this is what I did today, okay? My god, I don't know if you watch Books of Amber, check her out. Lovely girl. She's UK based as well, and I don't know, I just feel, I don't know, I just like her. She's my YouTube crush. I've watched her book haul this morning when I was getting ready, and she bought a collection of books by Martha Wells, The Murderbot Diaries. I have read book 1. Ooh, let's go down a little bit. I have read book 1 last year during the Amazing Readathon, and I really enjoyed it. And my plan is to go and finish the series. I just haven't gotten any time to do it. And I think because I haven't got physical books, I don't see them on my bookshelves, I'm not so pressured to read it, even though I really loved book 1. So in her book haul, she mentioned that covers that are available now, that are going out of print, and just like herself, I really like this cover that we have now. So I found the books online. I have ordered some from Amazon because I had £5 credit on Amazon, so I was like, I'm gonna use that, and I think I got 3 from Amazon coming tomorrow, but the rest of them I found on Blackwell's, and they had the hardbacks which I wanted. And when I went to the checkout, I see that they accept national book tokens, and I had a £30 book token because I had an award from work and I exchanged the reward for a book token. So I've used my £30 and I ended up paying 37, I think, for the 4 books, which is really good in my opinion. So I'm happy about that, and I'm happy that I managed to snatch the book covers, the book covers that we have now, because just like Amber, I think they are really nice, and I would like to have a collection of matching books. So I think that always looks very aesthetically pleasing on the bookshelf. Anyway, I am going to love you and leave you because I need to go to the library. I forgot. I have a book waiting for me in the library. Okay, so if I go, I might have a look what manga they have, because am I getting into am I becoming a graphic novel girly? Ooh, I don't know, maybe maybe a horror one. Anyway, I'll catch you later. how cool is this cover? Oh my god. I'm just about to go take a shower and then go to bed, but I want to read at least a chapter of The Favourites. But I have finished listening to The Rats by James Herbert while I was working on Jason's Blanket. And just to give you a quick synopsis, this is a story that is happening in London, and the people are being bitten by massive, huge black rats, and it seems like these rats basically kill people for food. They eat them, they attack animals, they attack children, and there's this guy Harris who is a school teacher, and he kind of gets involved in this whole situation because one of his students comes to school and he's got kind of like a bandage or something on his arm, and he says that he got bit by a rat on the way to school. So he takes him to the hospital and whatnot, and then the next day the boy dies. So the government kind of involves this guy into this whole investigation and the fight against these rats. And this book was written in 1974. And to be honest, there is so much hype around it still that I actually expected fireworks, and for me this book was just okay. I rated it 2 stars. I didn't like the characters. I found this book kind of a little bit, I don't know, I was cringing in a few places, especially in where the few sex scenes were described. Oh my god, yeah, it's definitely a book of its time. Also, I didn't understand why the author chose this teacher to become the hero that will save the humanity and stuff like that. I mean, I know he was involved with the boy, but I think he would be better as a side character. I feel like the person that would suit better to be in this position would be a scientist or a doctor, someone like this, someone that has knowledge. And then, you know, I just find it really weird that the government suddenly decided to involve this teacher just because he was there when he took the boy to the hospital. So that was a little bit weird, and I feel like it made this book more on the unbelievable side of things. I didn't hate this book. It wasn't horrible, but it was only okay. And I don't think I'll be continuing with the series because I don't think I like the writing style. I've read James Herbert's book before and I enjoyed most of them, but yeah, not this one. I won't be continuing with the series. But I will use this book for my horror bingo board, for my hard mode, out of your comfort zone, because this is not something that I usually read. I don't usually read vintage horror. So yeah, I will be using this for that one. And on that note, I'm going to shower, get into bed and start reading The Favourites. And yeah, good night. Writing characters that are so easy to despise. And Kelly is not even the worst of the worst. It's not like your trailers. finished PTSD Radio. This is volume 5 and 6. Omnibus number 3, and I don't think it was as good as the other two books. The first one and the second one I literally swallowed so fast. I think it was because it was so new, and in this one I felt like the stories were a little bit repetitive. I still enjoyed the artwork, and yeah, some of the stories were quite cool. For this reason I would rate it 3 stars. The other two I rated 4 stars. Yeah, I not disappointed, but yeah, it was just different. I don't think it was as good as the other 2 volumes, but yeah, 3 stars. It's still, illustrations are still brilliant. And today I also started listening to Onyx Storm, and I don't know what it is. I literally just cannot concentrate on this book. So this is the second time I'm soft DNFing the audiobook, and I think eventually I will read this book physically at some point. So I don't know, this Onyx Storm is not calling my name. I'll see. I want to read it, but I have literally no idea when it's gonna happen. The favorites though, my gosh, I literally inhaled nearly 60 pages yesterday, and I was like, it was time for me to go to sleep, and I was like, I literally couldn't put this book down. It's so good. It's so good. It really reads like Daisy Jones and the Six, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm having such a good time, and I'm gonna say it again, I freaking love the cover. I think more books have to have covers like this. I have another early start tomorrow, and I'm telling you, I was struggling today because it was my first early shift in probably a couple of months, and I couldn't sleep last night either. So I was really tired today at work, but never mind, hopefully I will sleep a little bit better, fingers crossed. My gosh, look at this. I literally left the house in the morning and I had to scrape ice off my windscreen, and now it's sunny, and I came home and I'm already in the face because it's so warm, and I'm literally had so many layers on me. This is the type of weather that pisses me off, because I was up at 4:40 and I left my house about 5:15 in the morning. It was still freezing cold, and now look at this. It's nice and warm. Anyway, so I just wanted to say I didn't have an audiobook, and I went on the Libby app, and this was available. This is the book this is the mystery book that was sent to me. That was sent to me in the February Abominable Book Club box. I think you have seen the unboxing for this. If not, it should be in the card somewhere. It's about this journalist who wants to write a report or an article about this video that went viral, and there's this island somewhere in Scotland that apparently there's this cult on this island, and they're Satanists and something like this, and one day some tourists from the boat recorded a video of this massive kind of creature walking around in between the trees and stuff like that. So he is going to this island to investigate, Pig Island it's called, and oh my god, what a boring book. Honestly, it reads like it was 50 years old. I think this book was released in 2006, so even now it's nearly 20 years old, and authors 20 years ago, the writing style was different, the attitude was different towards, I don't know, women in books and sex in books and everything. And I don't know, it reads like it was done in like the 70s or the 80s. So I have listened to 10 chapters of it. I would be starting chapter 11, which is page 97. So yeah, this much done, about 25%. And I'm going to discontinue with this book. I'm going to DNF this book because I just found myself dozing off listening to this book. It's not something that I enjoy. Maybe a man would enjoy this a little bit more than I personally enjoyed. So that's a DNF, and in a way I'm happy because it's one book off my TBR. I need to mark it in my spreadsheet. So I'm reading the favorites. I took the dust jacket off because I don't want it to get damaged, and look, we've got ice skates on the hardcover, and I have read 100 pages. I'm just about to start part 2, and this is so good. We get a story of the main 2 characters, Katarina Shaw and Heath Rocker, and it's in between the chapters of their story, there are pieces of interviews that were recorded, because it seems like it's a recording, like it's a documentary for whatever, Netflix or whatever. And in between the chapters, people talk about them. There's interviews with coaches and ex-ice skaters and stuff like that. So it reads really, really fast. The chapters are nice and short. I'm literally flying through this book. I'm having a really good time with it. Highly recommended already. I am predicting a 5-star read, especially after hearing other people's reviews as well. But yeah, I know I'm having a fantastic time with it. Anyway, I'm gonna go change, update my spreadsheet, and then downstairs make myself a cup of tea. That's the plan for today. Hello. Oh my gosh. Do you know what? I come across such a good book. I have about 15 minutes left of audio for that book, and then I'll tell you all about it. But I come across this book when I was searching to fulfill one of my horror bingo board prompts. And yeah, so I just come back from work. I changed. I'm gonna put my shit away, and I need to make myself some lunch because all I had today was yogurt and a couple of clementines. So I'm gonna eat something, and I'm gonna put my headphones on, listen to this, and then tell you all about it. I'm having such a good time, you know. Okay, so I have just finished that book. The cover's on the screen, and it's The Company of Death by Elisa Hansen. I was looking for a book to fulfill my neighbor's there. He probably, I don't know, he might see me because the lights are on. So I'm gonna kneel here for a bit. Okay, so I picked this book up because I was looking for a book to fulfill the last prompt on my horror bingo board, and that prompt was Death Personified. And for the hard mode, it was supposed to actually have Death or Grim Reaper. And there are a few options. One of them was A Dirty Job by Christopher Moore that was on my radar. I think I even bought this book when it was like on a deal or something. But then, I don't know, for some reason, I was just not interested in reading it. So I searched again, and one of the recommendations from Reddit was this book, The Company of Death by Elisa Hansen. I've listened to this as an audiobook. It says it's book 1 in the series. I don't see a book 2 available anywhere, and after just finishing it, the book 1, I would definitely read book 2, because apart from the fact that I was a bit confused in the beginning, when I got the gist of the story, I had the best time ever. This is all happening in a post-apocalyptic world where after some explosion in Ecuador, we have zombies present on Earth. And I don't know where vampires come from. I don't know if they're a result of the same explosion or not. But we have zombies and we have vampires and we have no more humans. And now humans, to be safe from the zombies, they go into these vampire communes where they offer themselves as food to the vampires in return for protection. So this is kind of seen as, you know, humans are being used by vampires. And at the same time, we have groups of people that fight those communes because they want to stop this kind of like not human trafficking, but like taking advantage or enslaving humans and stuff like that. And we follow this group, and on one of the missions things go wrong and Emily doesn't see a different way out but only to off herself. So she's trying to do this, and at the same time a zombie is trying to get her. So because she's trying to off herself, the Grim Reaper turns up, Death turns up, and the Death and the zombie touch Emily at the same time. So she doesn't die, but she doesn't become a zombie, like the brains zombie, right? And they together go on this journey. She kind of attaches herself to him and they go on this journey. That's the two characters we follow. The next character we follow the vampire that gets away from the same factory, and he's on a mission of his own. He's kind of like this rogue vampire. All he cares about is himself and whatnot. And he comes across during his journey, he comes across this android, Carol. The android is called Carol, and because he can smell human on her, he follows her, and that's how we get introduced to character number 5, which is Scott. And cut the long story short, for some time we follow Scott and Carol. In some chapters we follow Leif the vampire. Leif? I think it's Leif the vampire, and some chapters we follow Emily and Death. For me, the funniest chapters were the ones where we were following Emily and Death, because the conversations they were having, and I don't know, they were just so funny. I was literally listening to this, and I was chuckling, because these two, he is so serious and he talks with such deep voice and everything. And then she's just so confused, like she's kind of like this half zombie, not a zombie, and she's asking him all this question about dying, about this, about, and it was just so funny. It was just so entertaining. I love these chapters. So at the end of the book, these characters kind of get together because they have the same goal, and it's just like it's just such an unlikely team. We have Emily, who's half zombie, we have Scott, who is fully human, we have Death, Grim Reaper himself, we have a vampire, and we have an android. And it's just like, it literally almost feels like, what's the one with Dorothy, Wizard of Oz or whatever, when she was on this journey with the Tin Man, whatever the names were. It kind of feels like this. Everyone is so different, and I don't know, it was just a very interesting story, and it was funny. And also the questions that were asked about death and dying, you know, I feel like it's the questions that a lot of people ask themselves. I wanted to rate this book 4.5 stars because I feel, for me, it was brilliant. I loved it. But for me, the fact that I was so confused in the beginning and I didn't know what the hell was going on, like how did we get here? Like, I want some details. I think this is where I would cut this 0.5 star. But because I don't do half stars, I kind of rated it down to 4 stars. It was still a brilliant book. The vibes in this book were absolutely brilliant. If you have a sense of humor, you will like this book. It was so not serious, but in a way, it also was, especially when, like I said, Emily was talking to Death. I would like to read book 2. Why? Can we get book 2, please? Actually, now I'm 4 books behind on my book blanket because I was doing Jason's blanket. So this is where we are so far. It's folded in half. I'm not going to unfold it because there's no need. But yeah. So I'm doing this beige color now, but look, on the lighter color you can really see the pattern. I think it's so lovely. In yarn news, I have ordered more yarn because I don't have any. Lie. This is the yarn. You might recognize it from the sweater that I made before. with this yarn. So they had an offer on this yarn, basically half price, and I was like, I need to get it. I also, yesterday when I was doing my book blanket, I have realized that I'm going to run out of my yarn for 5 stars, 4 stars and 3 stars. So I've ordered those as well, and I've ordered a hot pink for the border. So I just think hot pink is gonna look so good. And now I actually feel so tired today for some reason. I don't know. I am going to go get myself ready for work, and 6 o'clock maybe start another book. So I'm thinking this Karen Slaughter, After That Night. I'll be reading this via audio. I think I'm gonna get my stuff ready for work, and I'm gonna put this on and listen to this while I work on my book blanket. But let's just quickly read the synopsis, because Karen Slaughter, it's Will Trent. I think I started watching Will Trent on wherever it was. I don't know, I didn't gel with that series. After that night, nothing was ever the same. 15 years ago, Sarah Linton's life changed forever when a celebratory night out ended in a violent attack that tore her world apart. Since then, Sarah has remade her life. A successful doctor, engaged to a man she loves, she finally managed to leave the past behind her. Until one evening, on call in the ER, everything changes. Sarah battles to save a broken young woman who's been brutally attacked. But as the investigation progresses, led by GBI Special Agent Will Trent, it becomes clear that Danny Cooper's assault is uncannily linked to Sarah's. And it seems their past isn't going to stay buried forever. Dun dun dun. Also, look at the price of this book. It literally says 20 quid here. 20 quid. That's a lot of money. I only got it for £1 from a charity shop. So yeah, I love charity shops. I'm gonna go. Love you and leave you. I need to record some B-reel. Since I read that PTSD Radio, I've been in a mood for graphic novels, and I picked up a couple on the Libby app. This is the one I have read for my horror bingo board, for my easy mode, The End Times Are Near. I have read Zombies, A Record of the Year of Infection, it's a very long title, Field Notes by Dr. Robert Twombly. This was kind of like a novella. It was so good because it was written in the form of a diary of this doctor. They were working on some specimens. There was this virus, obviously, and they were in this lab. They were working on the specimens of like the blood, and they were doing different experiments and stuff. And then the outbreak happens, and he locks himself in this lab somewhere. He's watching his colleagues go get diseased and go zombie. And he writes something every single day, and we see his kind of progress from the moment when he first started hearing about different things to the very, very last moment when he found this kind of like a community being attacked. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends, because I think it wouldn't be fair if you wanted to read it. But I think it was such a good book. It was I think it was like 140 pages. And it had really nice illustrations. It wasn't a graphic novel. It was like a novella, but with illustrations. And for such a short, quick read, I felt like it packed so much tension. In some of these places, this diary read like, you know, he's in a hiding, or he's hearing stuff and that, and he's literally recording everything. So you can literally put yourself in his shoes and kind of, I don't know, I just felt it. It was so good. So I rated that one 4 stars as well. I like the ending. The ending was nice. I mean, it wasn't nice, but it was a good ending. I think in line with the book. It was a perfect ending. The favorites, and I'm about halfway through. And then I also am reading a book for my episode 3 of self-destructing books. If you haven't already, I have recently posted episode 2 of my self-destructing books. The link should be in the description box below, so feel free to check it out. I will also link the entire playlist if you want to see. Via audio, I'm reading Karin Slaughter, After That Night, and I picked it up because it was available on Libby as an audiobook, and this is Will Trent series, and I think this is book 11, so I don't know whatever, like all the deets of whatever his relationship is with the main character here, the female main character here, but I think it basically follows Will Trent and his relationships over the entire series, and then each book is about something else. And then in this book, the main female character here, 15 years prior, when she was in college or just after college, she was assaulted, and yeah, she was actually applying for a permanent position in a hospital, something. She was a doctor, pediatrician, and she was assaulted in a hospital. And years later, there is a girl that is brought to ER, and this patient says that, you know, this is what happened to her. She's trying to help her. Unfortunately, the girl doesn't make it through. And then a few years later, the story moves on. A few years later, we see this doctor in court, and she's testifying in a case connected to this girl that passed away in a hospital. And she finds something out that is connected to her past. Long story short, I don't think this is my kind of book, because there's a lot of like police procedures and stuff like that. I think if I was reading this book, I think I would have put it down. But yeah, it's something that I kind of listen to when I do my blankets or whatever, when I have a minute. It's not bad, but I think it's just not my cup of tea. It's not horrible. I keep listening to this. I will finish it. Just past halfway mark in this book, so I should finish it in maybe a couple of days, 3 days, we'll see. But yeah, so that's that. And also at work on my Kindle, I started reading The List, and it's a contemporary, I don't know what it is, but it's a contemporary book, and it's happening in London. And then in the beginning we follow this couple of I think black people, a woman and a man, and they both work in like the city. She works for some magazine, and he is going to start his first day at work in some company or other. And she wakes up in the morning, and all her friends are telling her about The List, and someone on Twitter released a list of names of all the people, all the men in this creative industry, in this creative professions in London, work in London, that were in some way connected to like sexual assaults and stuff like that. So that list is released, and her boyfriend, her fiance, his name is on this list. So I kind of got to the point, I've only read like 20 pages on my meal break, but I got to the point where she kind of says, okay, we need to talk, and they're going to see each other for coffee and discuss things. So far so good. It reads okay, it reads fast, and yeah, I'm curious. It's intriguing. I wonder what's gonna happen. How is she going to go about it? Because I feel like women can go different ways. They can go, I mean, it's everyone, not just women, but like they can go either like full, I cut you off, I don't want to have anything else to do with you. They can also be like, okay, tell me what happened, whatever, we can work it out. And the other one would be like, no, not my man, like, you know, it's kind of like denial. So I wonder how this is going to end, and we'll see. So good. Anyway, I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea. I'm not cooking today because we have a lovely dinner left over from yesterday, and I'm going to make myself a cup of tea, read my favorites for a little bit, and then get myself ready for work for tomorrow. Another lovely day. I have finished listening to Karin Slaughter After That Night, and it was quite good. At first I wasn't sure about this book, but now I actually quite enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars, and it's kind of like an investigative crime. We have Will Trent, the detective, and we have Sarah, who 15 years before was a victim of an assault, and Sarah is also a doctor in an ER. She helps this girl that was assaulted as well, and we kind of start from there. I think I told you some bits about this book, and basically, so the whole book is they're investigating, trying to get to the bottom of things, and my gosh, the twist at the end was very unexpected. And I think when things started falling, when things start to fall in places, not pieces, when things started falling in places, I was like, actually, it's really, really good. And yeah, I rated it 4 stars. I might even start reading the series. I can't commit myself. But I think it would be interesting to see. I feel like Will Trent is such an interesting character. It's like Harry Hole. Harry Hole is one of my favorite series of all time, apart from Hunger Games, but like a different genre. So that kind of genre, Harry Hole is my favorite series, and this is a very similar one. But however, Will Trent here, he's dyslexic and he's kind of like very put together, where Harry Hole is kind of like this really rough character. So I might go back and start reading from book 1, which is not good for me because it will also mean buying more books. I literally have another stack of books behind me that needs to be shelved. Also, I've just realized today, imagine, which I didn't even know about that, I have a collector's edition. How crazy is that? I literally picked this book up in a charity shop last year or a couple of years ago, and only today I have removed the dust jacket for some reason, and I see there's all this gold foiling, and it actually says here collector's edition. So yeah, I'll keep this one, but I need to find book 1 in a series and start reading it. But I've got such ambitious plans. I want to catch up. I want to reread Dan Brown's Robert Langdon series, and there's so many books I want to read, and I just wish I had more time. I wish I didn't have a full-time job. I wish I didn't have to go to work. I wish I could just be at home, read books and be a full-time booktuber. But yeah, maybe one day. But anyway, I picked up another audiobook, and my hours of BookBeat renewed. So I picked up The Fisherman by John Langan, and that's supposed to be kind of like a grief horror story with a creature in it. So I'll be using this for cryptid prompt on my horror bingo board, and yeah, so we'll see. I listened to maybe like 10 minutes of it, and I don't know, it seems like there's a lot of text and not much dialogue, and I have a feeling it's going to be one of them slow books. So I don't know, we will see. So yeah, I'll give it a go via audio, because I think I would die reading this book. There's literally zero dialogue. It's supposed to be about like grieving men, and they go on this fishing trip, and there's something in the water. Okay, so it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if I can't remember the author, but The Shack. It was kind of like this guy, I think his daughter died, and he went into this cabin in the woods, and he was there on his own, and then this man started visiting him, and he started seeing things, and turns out he was speaking to God, and you know, kind of like he was grieving and going through things and stuff like that. So I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of The Shack a little bit. I don't know, we shall see. My people, I have just finished The Fisherman, and this is not my kind of a book. It was very much like Stephen Graham John's books, and me and Stephen, we do not vibe. it's divided in 3 parts. In part 1, we meet Abe and Dan. Both of them are widowers, and as a way of dealing with their grief, they go fishing. And one day, Dan discovers this entry about this Dutchman's Creek where you can apparently see your loved ones that passed away. Then we go into part 2, and in part 2 they meet this guy in this diner on the way to that creek, and he tells them the legend and the story behind this creek. And that part was long, and it was so dragged out, and 80% of it I found boring. And if I was reading this book physically, I would probably DNF it in part 2, because it was just too much. There were interesting bits, but most of it I just found boring and basically snooze fest. And then in part 3 we go back again to Abe and Dan on the fishing trip in the creek, and that's where weird shit happens, and I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I couldn't care less. I cared about them in part 1 and in the beginning of part 3, and then I stopped because the story took a turn for worse, in my opinion. There's too much, I literally don't know how to describe it. I didn't like it. I think whatever story was told in part 2 could have been done in a shorter and more interesting way, more engaging. I don't know. The only thing I like about this book is the cover. I love the cover, and this is all I like. Anyway, so I rated this book 2 stars. I don't think I'll be keeping this on my shelves. It will end up on my Vinted, but I will be using this for cryptid prompt on my horror bingo board. So that will be another one that I can tick off. I don't know what else to say apart from the fact that, yeah, this is not a book for me. So yeah, 2 stars for The Fisherman. But yeah, the only good thing out of it is that it's another book of my physical TBR, and I am so happy about that. And now I'm gonna go and pick something else. I want to read the favorites. I have less than 100 pages left, I want to say. That book I'm loving.
Thought I was losing who I call myself today in this world of illusions. Didn't dare to sing my name. That was when you came along.
Hello, so I'm just doing my ironing, and I have just finished listening to The Final Girls support group by Grady Hendrix. So this book is about a group of women that meet in this support group with a therapist, Carol, once a month, I think. And all these women were the final girls. So, like, let's say if there's like killer on the loose and is killing people, and she is the final girl, like, you know, in the movies, just the last one to survive. Or the last one to actually kill the killer and stuff like that. So they meet and they discuss different things and how they cope with living in society, and you know, they all have different problems. One of them, I think, is disabled because the killer come at her second time, and she ended up pushing that killer out of the window and then falling herself, so she ended up in a wheelchair. So each one of them is different. I think there's a senator's wife as well, but our main character, Lynette, we kind of start the book with her, and she kind of like takes us on a tour of her apartment and how secure it is, and how she has everything under control in that apartment. Like she's got some cameras fitted and some extra deadbolts on the doors and stuff like that. And in that one of those meetings, one of those final girls, she doesn't turn up, and then turns out she got murdered. And then it seems like someone is coming for them and tries to take them out one after another. So it kind of like the story starts there, the plot starts there, and mostly we follow the main character, Lynette. She is the narrator of the story. Lynette was my favorite thing about this whole book. She was such well-developed character. She was so complex and so, I don't know, she was just a lot, and I liked her. But because of that, because she was such a rich character, I feel all the other ones came across a little bit dull, I would say. The other thing that I liked is the pacing of this book, because I am not someone that likes slow-paced books. I like when actually things are going on, and it was definitely I would say it was kind of like a medium to fast pace. Definitely towards the end of the novel, it was the pace definitely picked up even more. But I have to say, towards the end of the book, there were moments when I was a little bit, not confused, but I kind of lost the plot a little bit, because, and that was at the moment when we were kind of like presented with the options for our villain. And it kind of, yeah, it got me a little bit confused and a little bit like, you know, that kind of came out of the blue a little bit. But yeah, never mind, it all made sense at the end. But still, I feel like the reveal, or even the suggestion of the reveal, was kind of done a little bit too early. Personally, I would rather have that big reveal at the very, very end. Otherwise, it's not a bad book, but I don't know. I rated it 3 stars. So it's one of those books that I just, you know, yeah, it was okay. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I finished. I only have 4 blouses here to iron, and I think I'm gonna, I had a busy day. I was doing a lot of chores. I'm gonna go get my laundry off the line, and then I think I have about 30 pages of the favorites left, and I want to read it today, and then I will be able to close this vlog as well, and then we can move on to new books and new month as well. I can't believe literally April is like in 2 days. Absolutely crazy. I have finished reading the favorites. Oh my god, 5 stars. What a ride. What an absolute joy to read. In this book we follow a couple, and we start when they're actually kids, like 8-9 years old, whatever, and we follow them on the road to the Olympics in figure ice skating, and we follow them from their childhood. We follow the entire drama, we follow the relationship with themselves, with other people, with other skaters, all the drama, all the toxicity, all the bullying, all the bitchiness, and everything that goes with any competitive sport. And oh my gosh, it was so good for me. Like, it also was so nostalgic, because I, as a little girl, used to love watching figure ice skating. Oh my gosh, I used to love watching ice skating when I was a kid. So for me, this book is a really kind of like, it feels very nostalgic. Even though I've never done ice skating myself, except like, you know, skating on the frozen pond or whatever, I used to love watching figure skating. And I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. This was such a quick read. Like, the way it was structured, we had chapters that were purely kind of like snippets of interviews with different people for a TV show, like a Netflix show or whatever, kind of like a documentary. So we had snippets of those interviews from different people, and then in between those we had a chapter of the storytelling of Katz and his story. So it made it read so quick. The characters that Lane Fargo built in this book were just so rich and so well developed and so well written. I felt like I literally was there with these people. That's how it felt. They just felt so real. And I think it was because she wasn't I don't know, just like smoothing over the stuff that's possibly going on behind scenes and everything, and the competitiveness of these people as well. And I just freaking loved it. The fact that it also reads like Daisy Jones and the Six is it just speaks for itself. Take a bow, Lane Fargo, because you literally produced such an amazing book. I absolutely loved it. I will recommend this to my daughter. I already recommended it to my mother. It's kind of like a love story. It's kind of like a romance, but I think like the romance and the love story slightly taking a second place, in my opinion at least, because what comes to front is that, you know, the push to be at the Olympics, the push to win, the ambition, the competitiveness, I can't speak, competitiveness. Oh, it's just like, chef's kiss. It's 5 stars. Also, like the cover, the UK cover is so beautiful. Like, I would pick this cover any day over the other covers that I've seen, like the gold one. This is gorgeous, but like, you know, I like colors, you know, I like bright colors. So for me, this is kind of like a no questions asked. So 5 stars for the cover and 5 stars for the flipping book, because oh my gosh, that was so good. And finally we come to an end of this vlog. I think I had a really good reading month, to be honest, especially like finishing so strong with the favorites. Absolutely loved that book. I hope you had a good reading month as well. Let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations for the books similar to The Favorites by Lane Fargo and Daisy Jones and the Six. Also, don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and if you haven't seen my last reading vlog from the first half of March, you should be seeing a video on your screen right now. For now, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next month. Bye!